Social Security shows up the same day every month for a lot of Black retirees, and by the 15th it has already answered for rent, the light bill, the co-pay, and whatever the pharmacy decided to charge this time, and there is nothing left to call a life. $2,000. That is the number most of them are actually working with, not the number in somebody's retirement fantasy. And every list on the internet will tell you that $2,000 works somewhere abroad. What none of them tell you is that a country can say yes to your money and still say no to you. Because $2,000 has to clear two different doors, not one. The first door is the paperwork. The country's own residency office runs your income through its own math before it ever asks what your rent looks like, before it cares what the beach photos promised you. The second door is the actual month. Food, a doctor, a place where you can actually exhale. A country can wave you through one door and quietly shut the other, and the brochure will never tell you which one just happened. Most videos only check the second door. This one checks both, on 10 countries, in the actual 2026 numbers, and ranks them by how much of your check survives clearing both. No relocation fantasy, no YouTube math, just the check behind the check. Number 10. Guyana. Guyana isn't selling itself as a retirement destination. It's too busy counting oil money to bother. Offshore drilling started in December of 2019, and the economy has roughly quadrupled since. Growth projected to climb another 16.2% this year alone, one of the fastest growing economies anywhere on the planet right now. That's the kind of number a government brags about in a press release, while half the capital is still waiting on the infrastructure to catch up. It's also exactly why the door is closing, one lease and one rent notice at a time. Afro-Guyanese make up close to 30% of the country, and Georgetown, the capital, is where a lot of that history lives out loud. Right now, a comfortable single retirement there runs $1,300 to $2,100 a month. $2,000 still clears it. A one-bedroom in neighborhoods like Bel Air Park or Queenstown is now $600 to $900, because international oil workers moved in and started paying whatever their expense account allows. That's not inflation. That's a bidding war you weren't invited to. There's no visa income test standing between you and Guyana. No paperwork gate, no pension form, no residency office running your check through a formula. The gate here is the receipt, and the receipt is moving. The lights still go out. The drains still back up. A country can be getting richer on paper and still leave you sitting in the dark. Guyana lands at number 10. The number works today. Nobody, not even the government cashing the oil checks, can promise you it still works next year. Number 9. St. Lucia. There is no retirement visa here. St. Lucia never built one, and the citizenship by investment program everybody's heard of starts at $240,000, which has nothing to do with a retiree living on a check. What St. Lucia built instead is a slower door. Renew your entry visa, live there honestly, and after long enough apply for ordinary permanent residency. No income form required, no pension statement to fax anywhere. Imagine a one-bedroom near Castries, or down toward View Fort, rent running $350 to $460 a month. A plate of fish and provisions that doesn't need a financial plan behind it. Mountains that go green, right down to the water, without a single billboard in the way. Add it up. A single retiree's month lands close to $1,500 before healthcare. Then add a private policy built for retirees, evacuation included, running $200 to $300 a month, because the island's own hospitals are not where you want to be for anything serious. Closer to $1,150, sometimes pushing $1,970 depending on the plan. $2,000 clears it. It just doesn't clear it by much. That's the trade here. No paperwork gate at all, no visa office running your income through a formula, and a real margin, so thin you'd notice a slow month before you noticed a good one. St. Lucia lands at number 9. The door is wide open. The hallway behind it is narrower than the brochure photos make it look. Number 8. Grenada. Grenada shows up to this list in 2 completely different outfits, and it never mentions that to your face. Outfit 1 is the glossy retirement visa on the tourism board's own website, proof of $37,000 a year required. That's over $3,000 a month. $2,000 doesn't clear that door. Not close. Come retire with us, the brochure says, and then quietly prices out most of the people reading it. But the brochure never mentions the first door. Outfit 2 is the ordinary path, the one nobody puts on a postcard. Live there lawfully for 2 years. Apply for permanent residency. No income form attached. No $37,000 gate. It's slower. It's less glamorous. And it's the door a real $2,000 check can actually walk through. A single retiree lives comfortably there on $1,500 to $2,000 a month, private health coverage included, in a country that's 82% African descent, where you share your background with most of the room before you've said a word. A 1-bedroom near the water in Grand Anse runs about $780. Foreign pension income isn't taxed here either, one less form standing between the check and the life it's actually supposed to buy. Let's be clear about what just happened. The marketed door and the real door are 2 completely different buildings, and only one of them has your name on the lease. Grenada didn't reject you. It just let the wrong door do the talking for a $37,000 asking price. Number 7. Cambodia. Cambodia's retirement visa isn't written into law the way you'd expect. There's no statute anywhere that says $800, $1,000, any number at all. Immigration officers cite $800 to $1,000 a month in bank statements as the going standard, and once you're in, you renew every year without proving your income again. The rule everyone follows isn't actually a rule. It's a habit the whole system agreed to. A comfortable life in Phnom Penh, or Siem Reap, runs $1,500 to $2,000 a month. $2,000 clears both the informal door and the real one, with room left over for the parts nobody budgets for. The visa doesn't touch this part. Phnom Penh's private hospitals will set a fracture and take out an appendix without a second thought. Cardiac surgery, cancer treatment, anything that requires the kind of specialist you'd expect at a major American hospital, and Cambodia hands you a plane ticket to Bangkok instead. An hour flight, $50 to $100 if it's not an emergency. Over $20,000 if somebody has to airlift you. We can handle most of it, the hospital tells you. The rest is a plane ticket to Bangkok. That's not a small footnote for a retiree on a fixed income. That's a second budget line hiding behind the first one, the kind that never shows up until the year you actually need it. Cambodia settles at number 7 because the door barely exists on paper and still holds, and the real cost was never the visa. It's the plane ticket you hope you never need to buy, priced in a currency none of the visa paperwork ever mentions. Number 6. Suriname. There's no retirement visa in Suriname either. What exists is a temporary residence permit, renewable for 2 years at a time, and after 5 years of doing that honestly, permanent status if you can show you're financially independent. Slow, bureaucratic, completely open to a $2,000 check, because nobody ever built a form that asks for one specific number. A single retiree there lives decently on $900 to $1,400 a month, a 1-bedroom near the center of Paramaribo running under $500, a market that smells like nutmeg and diesel in the same breath. That's not tight. That's real room, the kind most of this list can't offer at the same time as it offers you an actual city. No spreadsheet in this math accounts for what's actually there. More than a third of Suriname is Afro-Surinamese, including maroon communities, descended from people who escaped slavery generations ago and built their own towns deep in the interior rather than wait for freedom to be handed to them. That's not a footnote you skim past. That's, you're not the exception here. taken further than anywhere else on this list. But Paramaribo has one public emergency room for the whole capital, and it doesn't run a neurosurgeon on staff. Rural clinics further out into the interior have even less, sometimes nothing at all. Most retirees who move there carry international coverage with evacuation built in, the same instinct that keeps a lot of this list honest. Skip that coverage, and the low rent was never actually the price. This was. So does $2,000 actually work in Suriname? On the money, every single month, easily. On the day something goes seriously wrong, that's a different question, and Suriname never answers it for you. 5 down. What's left only gets sharper from here, including the one country on this list where the door just got cheaper this same year, for a reason nobody expected. If you're finding this useful, that's exactly what the like button and a subscribe are for. No membership pitch, no other channel to chase, just more of this same honest math on the next list. Hit both, and let's keep going. Number 5. Namibia. Namibia doesn't audition for this list. It just stands there, with its arms crossed, English on every road sign, and lets the numbers do the talking. This is a majority black nation, one of the few places on this whole list where you're the room's default, not its exception. Its retirement permit asks for proof of pension income around 25,000 Namibian dollars a month, close to $1,400 US. Clear that, and the country's own cost of living sits even lower. A monthly budget starting around $840, a one-bedroom in Windhoek's central neighborhoods running $400 to $800. Cheaper still out toward the suburbs. $2,000 doesn't just clear both doors here. It walks through with $600 still in its pocket, more breathing room than anywhere on this list except one. 82% of Namibians use the public health system day to day. The other 15–17%, mostly middle and higher earners, use private care instead, and that's the lane a retiree on a real income plan's around from the first month, not the lane you gamble into after something already went wrong. Bring proof of the pension, the residency office says, and the rest of it is yours to spend. Namibia lands at number 5. Widest margin on the list outside of one country still to come, and the country on the other side of that margin already looks like home before you've unpacked a single box. Number 4. Peru. Peru doesn't ask twice. Most of this list wants a form filled out every single year for the rest of your life. Peru asks once, checks the box, and leaves you alone. The rentista visa needs a permanent monthly income of $1,000, and a dependent adds $500 more. Prove that once, and it's a permanent status. No renewal, no reapplication every single year. No wondering if the rules quietly changed while you were asleep, the way they're about to at number 1. Imagine a morning in Cusco or Arequipa that doesn't start with checking an app to see if your paperwork cleared, because it already did, years ago, and nobody's coming to ask again. Outside Lima, basic costs run close to $1,000 a month before rent, and most retirees land comfortably under $2,000 total in cities like Arequipa or along the northern coast. Local private coverage through REMAC, the country's largest insurer, runs $120 to $250 a month. Real doctors, real hospitals, a fraction of what a comparable American plan costs, with a full international policy sitting closer to $4,000 a year if you want that instead. Lima itself is the one place on this list where the math gets genuinely tight. Rents pulled up by the same capital city gravity every country has. Everywhere else in Peru, from the coast to the highlands, it isn't. Peru settles at number 4. The door only asks once. The month keeps asking for less than you'd expect. Number 3. Albania. Albania is the quiet cousin nobody in this family talks about until the spreadsheet forces the conversation. Old Ottoman streets, a Mediterranean coastline that used to be a Cold War secret, and a pensioner permit that needs proof of roughly $1,000 a month in pension income, plus health coverage valid inside the country. Clear that, and a couple lives comfortably in Tirana, the capital, for $1,200 to $1,500 a month including rent. Along the coast, in towns like Suriname and Vlore, that same comfort drops to $900 to $1,200. $2,000 clears both doors here, with real room to spare. On a spreadsheet, Albania is close to the best deal on this entire list, rent that still remembers what affordable meant before every other coastline in Europe got discovered. Now let's be honest about the part no spreadsheet measures. There is no meaningful black community here, no established diaspora, no church that already knows your name walking in, no barbershop that sounds like home before you've said a word. You will be the only black face in most rooms you walk into, and Tirana will not pretend otherwise, no matter how good the exchange rate looks on your first afternoon. It isn't hostile, nobody's unsafe there. It's just quiet, in a way the rent never shows up on a spreadsheet to explain. It isn't a strike against Albania. It's a real question this list refuses to duck. Does the best number on the sheet still work if nobody in the room looks like you? Number 2. Jamaica. Jamaica's retiree residency route doesn't publish one hard number. The Passport, Immigration and Citizenship Agency judges every application case by case, but in practice, they want to see steady passive income around $800 a month coming in from outside the island, and a couple lives comfortably there for close to $2,000 total. For a single retiree working with the full $2,000, that's not a door that barely opens. That's a door that swings wide and stays that way. This is where a lot of Black American family trees already have roots, whether that's a grandparent's accent that never fully left, or a cousin who moved back years ago and won't stop posting about it. You are not introducing yourself to this place. You are returning to it, and the island already knows the shape of your last name. No brochure prints this number. A serious medical emergency that needs air evacuation off the island can run past $50,000, more than 2 full years of the check this whole video is built around. Private specialist visits alone run $100 to $300 a visit, no small thing on a fixed income without the right coverage lined up first, because the public hospitals are stretched thin, and everybody who can afford to skip the wait does. Jamaica lands at number 2. The check clears both doors with real room to spare. The real assignment was never the rent. It's building the health coverage in before a bad afternoon becomes the whole retirement fund. Number 1. Nicaragua. Nicaragua walks into this list looking like the one everybody's already made up their mind about. Old news, old headlines, old warnings, your uncle forwarded in a group chat 3 years ago. And then it does something none of the other 9 countries on this list did. Nicaragua didn't get cheaper because its government made the door safer. The door got cheaper because, as of this July, the government stopped pretending it needed the old paperwork at all. For years, Nicaragua ran a special law for retirees, Law 694, the kind that came with real tax breaks and duty-free import perks on top of the residency itself. That law is gone now, officially marked out of force as of July 5th of this year. Every relocation blog still quoting its old benefits hasn't caught up yet. None of them saw this part coming. The retiree residency underneath it didn't disappear with the law. It's still open, still asking for just $600 a month for the main applicant, $150 more for a dependent, now running as an ordinary category instead of a special one, with none of the old paperwork left standing in front of it. $600. Not $2,000. That means $2,000 doesn't just clear the door here. It clears it with $1,400 to spare, the widest gap on this entire list. In a country most relocation content assumed just got harder to move to the same week, it actually got easier. A single retiree's real month runs $1,200 to $1,800 in a colonial city like Grenada, closer to $2,000 if you want San Juan del Sur, the beach town with the biggest expat crowd and the ocean view rent to match. Either way, the money holds, with room left over. Most places on this list can't offer you at any price. Nicaragua isn't for everyone, and it shouldn't be sold like it is. The politics here are their own conversation, one worth having honestly before you book a flight, not after you've already signed a lease and shipped the furniture. But on the actual 2026 rules, nothing on this list opens as wide as this one does. Nicaragua takes the #1 spot because the door just got cheaper, the same year everyone assumed it would get harder. None of this is a cheapest country list. It isn't a warning list either. Call it what it actually is, the same math, run honestly 10 times, on a number that lands differently in every one of these places, whether that place hands you $600 of room or barely enough to stand on. The real lesson was never move here or don't. It's that $2,000 is not one number. It's a question, and the country answers it before you ever unpack a single box, whether you thought to ask or not. So argue with the ranking, because that's what this list is actually for. Which one of these 10 would you actually trust with your check? And which one would you tell your own mother to skip, no matter how good the spreadsheet looks, no matter what the brochure promised her? Say it in the comments, because half of you are about to disagree with where Nicaragua landed, and the other half already knew it belonged at #1 before the video even got there. If this saved you some research, hit like and subscribe, because the next list runs the same honest math on 10 more numbers people assume they already understand.